What?
Grandma wants to know if you want to go to Outback.
When?
Now, you have to get dressed in 15 minutes.
I can't go. I have to work in like 2 hours.
So, no.
So no.
You want her to pick you up anything?
Let me get that Southwest chicken salad from McDonald's. I'm about to eat. Hola a todos. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy muy bien. Yeah, so I have been trying like my absolute best and my absolute hardest to make freaking money lately, because my job told me that I was going to have work in like 2 weeks, and it's been a month and nothing. So in the meantime, I've been busting my butt trying to do stuff. So I think what I'm gonna start doing is making pre-recorded videos. That way, like the times where I have time, I make a bunch of videos, and then because I'm gonna be starting school again, I don't want to have to be like, oh, I'm so busy I can't make a video. So anyway, this is part 2 of the psycho POF thing that I did like last week, I think. So on this app, I had like I had a lot of messages, okay, and because of that, well, it was because of that, and because I had a lot of messages, but whenever I would like try to reach out to someone, they would never get back to me. I don't know what that was about, but they would never get back to me. So basically, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna answer the messages that I've been getting. So okay, so I was like, I'm just gonna answer the messages that I've been getting. But because that I was getting like a lot of messages, I really would only answer the ones that, either like caught my attention, or I'm not gonna lie, I would really only like answer the ones that caught my attention, or like from guys that I thought were really cute. There would be a couple of guys here and there who would like try to like talk to me, and then I would say a couple of things, but then ultimately I got bored of the conversation and I would forget to like write them back. So this particular guy, and I'm gonna say his real name because I don't give a his name is Charles, and I'm not gonna say his username on the site because it's not the same as his real name. I know he's still on the site because I just checked it a couple of days ago. Because, well, I'll tell you in a second why I did that. But yeah, so his name is Charles, and I don't remember our initial conversation, but all I remember is one day he sent me another message, and it said something along the lines of, hey, I tried this before with trying to talk to you, I'm going to give it one more shot, blah, 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 blah. And obviously, like, well, the way that POF works, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video, but the way that POF works is it automatically deletes like old messages. If you like haven't talked to that person in a while, it deletes. I don't know what the time frame is, probably like a month, I would think, or maybe 3 weeks. But yeah, so it deletes all old messages. So if I had talked to him before, I didn't remember because it was like a fresh new chat when he said that. So I was like, I felt kind of bad, and I was like, oh, this guy probably thinks I ignored him. I just figured like, okay, maybe we did talk about something, whatever. So we started talking, and we started having a good conversation. I mean, because like, I'm a person that like, if I am interested, I'll like, text back. I'm not one of those type of people that are like, oh, I'm a terrible responder. Oh, I can't be bothered. Oh my gosh, I'm just so like, unless I'm actually busy. Even then, I'm pretty good at just being like, hey, I'm busy, I'll get back to you later. which is something some people can't do for who knows what reason. But any old way. So yeah, we were talking back and forth, and he was just like really freaking sweet. Like he would call me like princess, which I like when guys call me that. Probably not too much anymore, but back then, like, I really liked it when a guy called me that. And he just like was complimenting me all the time. And you know, when we did talk about stuff, it was cool. Like, it wasn't like mind-boggling conversations, but we could hold conversations together. Now, there was a couple of red flags in the beginning, though. Case in point being, whenever he would compliment me, he would, sorry, so comfortable. Whenever he would compliment me, he would like turn back around and just like tear himself down, like right afterward. So like he would say something like, "You're so beautiful," which is sweet, but then he would say, "I don't even know why you're going out with me, like I'm so ugly, blah 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 blah." And granted, he wasn't the best looking. He really wasn't. And I knew that, but I had been on a date with a guy a few weeks prior who I also didn't think looked good in his pictures. But we just had such good conversations. I was like, you know what, F it, whatever. And he asked me to meet him, and we met. And long story short, with that, like when I met with him in person, he looked totally different. Like, he looked completely different than he did in his pictures. He just took like really bad pictures, and but he was so hot in person. I was like, oh my god. And I really liked him, and we talked like all the freaking time, like every day, all day for like 2 weeks. And then when we met, the third time that we met, he basically, we kissed goodnight. It was our first kiss, and it was like the best first kiss I've ever had. And that night, oh no, he ignored me for like a whole week after that. And then when he finally got back to me, he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I ignored you, whatever." But basically told me that I was too immature for him, and you know, so that ended. Anyway, so fast forward to this Charles guy. I didn't want to like, write him off just because I didn't think he was attractive, basically. He was also a little bit pushy, not too much, but kind of pushy, where like he'd be like, "Oh, send me a snap, send me this, send me that." I remember one time I sent him a snap without any makeup on. He was like, "Oh, I love the fact that you just sent me a snap with no makeup. I like that confidence from a girl," which, I thought was sweet. But I will never forget this. He sent me like a video of himself like walking down the street, and I was like, not cute at all. But I didn't want to be like shallow and petty and stop talking to him, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep talking to him, whatever. And so it got to a point where he was like, "Okay, when can I see you? When can I freaking see you?" And at the time, I had been like telling my grandmother about everything that I had been doing. Like, if I wanted to go on a date with someone, I would tell her, but she would just freak out. So in order to compromise, she told me that if he wanted to, if he wanted to pick me up or whatever, that I couldn't like go outside of like this district that we're in. So I was like, okay, fine, good deal, whatever. He picked me up at a Starbucks. Oh wait, no, I can't. I have to explain. So he first was like, "I want to take you to Red Lobster, and I wanted us to go shopping." And I was like, I'm not really like. I was trying to save money because I was planning on going to school soon. So I was like, no, I'd rather do something low key. He was like, "Why don't you want to go to the mall?" I was like, I mean, I don't really need to buy anything, and also like, whenever I buy something, like, I just end up buying a whole bunch of stuff. Like, it's never a medium thing. I go from 0 to 100. That's why I can't go shopping, because I'll just keep buying stuff. So this guy was like, "Okay, no, don't worry about it. I want to pay for you. I want to pay for everything. And I was like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. He was like, why aren't you comfortable with it? I just want to take you on a shopping spree. I'm like, I don't even know you, and the first date you want to take me out shopping, like that to me, like I wouldn't even want like a boyfriend to do that for me. Like it just makes me feel really freaking uncomfortable, to be honest with you. Like maybe not if we were like comfortable in a relationship or whatever, like maybe like a year in, but like a first date, that's just too much. Like I don't need you to try to impress me with your money because I have money. So not I have money, but because I definitely do. But if I want something, I'm gonna find a way to get it. I'd rather like impress me with like what's going on up here, not like everything else. You know what I mean? Because that stuff doesn't matter to me. Anyway, then he was like, okay, well let's just go to Red Lobster. I personally, there's a lot of people who don't think Red Lobster is expensive. I think that's an expensive place. So I wasn't really comfortable with that either. I didn't want to have to be like, okay, in my head, let me get the cheapest thing on the menu, whatever. I just wanted to go to like a really low key place and probably, like that I would feel comfortable being like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pay for myself, blah blah this and that. So I said, let's go to this go kart rink and then let's go get pizza afterwards. Really low key and fun. He wasn't really about it, but he was like, okay, fine, whatever. Now, another thing that I want to mention is like when I tell you that we talked, he wanted to talk to me like on a 24-hour cycle. Like he had this job where I think he had to like get up at like 3 a.m., go to work. He would text me whenever he was getting up to go to work, so like 3 a.m. Even if I wasn't answering, he would just keep texting me. And if I didn't text back, he'd be like, hey, did you, or like, hey, what's up, whatever. And then so I would feel bad and I would like text back or whatever. Kind of like the same along the lines with the same guy. But like for some reason during this week, it felt like we never really stopped talking. Do you know what I mean? Because he would have to get up at like 3 a.m. and he would text me then, and I slept late all the time. So I was up. I mean, so terrible, but I was up. And then when I woke up at around like 12 or 1, he would be texting me or whatever. So it never really felt like we stopped texting, which I didn't really like. It made me feel kind of anxious. I don't know how to really describe that. But yeah, but nothing was really like setting off to me except for the fact that like he kind of really wasn't letting up about the Red Lobster thing. Like he really wanted to go there. And I kept saying, no, I'm not comfortable with that. Also, it's outside of like the compromise, that I gave my grandmother. So fast forward, he picks me up at a Starbucks. Him and my grandmother meet. It was so freaking embarrassing. Like this was like 2 years ago, and I still feel the embarrassment of my grandmother meeting this guy that I was going on a date with for the first time. Like, no, that definitely doesn't happen anymore. By the way, because I was like, no, that's freaking ridiculous. Anyway, so he picks me up, and we start driving. Immediately when I get in the car, he's telling me like, oh my gosh, you look so beautiful. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I looked good, I was trying to look good. It was the first date. I curled my hair. My hair was straightened, I curled it, I did my makeup, whatever. And I was like, thanks, you look nice too. And that was a lie. I'm not gonna lie, that was a lie. He, first of all, way taller than his pictures. He looked way taller than he did in his pics. I think girls like it when like a guy is like a bunch taller than him, but I personally can't fucking stand it. I hate that because okay, first of all, I'm 5'1", okay? I'm 5'1". I don't got a lot of height going for me, you feel me? And I just like I hate it when I want to like kiss a guy and I have to climb, like I have to get on my tippy toes in order to get my lips to touch their lips. Like that to me is annoying as I hate that. Also, like, you know, if you want to hug them, I don't want to have to get on my tippy toes to reach your shoulders. I just don't. So, like, the ideal, like, height type for me is usually like a guy that's like 5'8", 5'8" to like 5'10" or 11 is like good height. This guy was like 6'1", and I was just like, oh my god. So there was that. Then he looked so much like, in his pictures he looked really fit. Long story short, he just looked better in his photos. You feel me? Like, God, he looked better in his pictures. And he just looked like really thin, like sickly thin. Like, his face looked like he didn't eat. He never ate. And so it was just like a bunch of stuff like that. Like, I just, and then he had like this thing where, and I'm like a germaphobe, right? So like, I pay attention to people's mannerisms like very carefully. Like, I hate the type of person who will freaking take their finger and run it along like a bunch of dirt that they see on like a windowsill or something. I can't stand that because I don't want you touching me with that finger. Like, cause they'll just wipe it off and be like, oh, I just wiped it off of my pants. My finger is cleansed and ready to go. No, don't come near me. Don't touch me. He had this thing where his nose was like always runny, and he would just do this. I'm not gonna touch my face because I just did my makeup, but he would just do this and like just rub the snot on his hand like constantly every 5 minutes. So that freaking disgusted me. And I remember one point we were in the car and he went to like touch my hand, and his hand was like so disgusting. Like, it felt sweaty and gross, and like, I'm not saying it wasn't like he was sweaty because he was nervous. He just had one of those types of hands that were just really moist. I can't. He just was basically all the things that I don't like. All the things that I don't like wrapped in like one guy that came in like a 6'1" bow. Okay. And like, the only reason why I'm being petty right now is because of what you'll see later. Like, I'm really not this petty unless someone has wronged me. When I saw all this, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna make the most of it, you know. But like, right now I'm being petty because I don't give a fuck. Because this guy, like, I would say fuck you to his face if I ever saw him again. So, but at the time when I noticed all of this, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna try to make the most of this. So we get in the freaking car, and he was just so freaking pushy. He wasn't the same that he was in his text. In his text, he was so sweet and like thoughtful and nice, but in person, he was just like, are you kidding me?
Grandma asked me to do something for her.
But in person, he was like just like the pushiest person I had ever freaking met. Like, I get in the car and I can't, because like this happened 2 years ago. But I remember at one point, like, well, first of all, the degrading of himself started like almost immediately. He started saying how good I look, and then he was like, oh, I have all these zits on my face. I'm so sorry. Like, I look so ugly today. Blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, no, you look nice. Lying. But I'd be like, no, you look nice. Whatever. And, so then I remember at one point he had on music, and I wasn't really saying anything because in car rides I usually don't talk. I'm more accustomed to not talk. Also, I kind of felt really uncomfortable because he was like kind of like overcompensating, you know what I mean? And he at one point was like, sorry, let's listen to your music. I know you got like something on there. And he saw like I had Pandora on my phone. So let's listen to your music. I was like, no, that's okay. I don't really want to play my music. So he started playing his music, and there was like a Drake song that came on, and he kept saying like, come on, sing it with me. And I was like, no, I really don't want to. And he was like, why? And or no, he didn't even say why. He was like, I know you know the words, and he was like singing it and keep making me want to sing it. And like the reason why I was getting so annoyed is like it doesn't matter like who that person is. Whenever I meet someone for the first time, I'm just incredibly awkward. Like, and so I can't take it if someone is trying to push me to do things that I don't want to do, even if it's like as simple as like just singing, like rapping a song. That to me is awkward, and I don't do that with just anyone. I do that with my friends. Okay, I'm relocating because that position is making my back hurt. Okay, so the fact that he kept trying to make me sing that song, which sounds really trivial, honestly, in like hindsight, I get that that doesn't sound like it's important at all, but like it made me feel uncomfortable, and I could try to ask him to like stop, but he kind of like wouldn't. He didn't really care. But like after a while, he was like, okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry. And so, honestly, like none. It doesn't really start getting to be like a crazy sort of thing until like later. So I noticed that he was going a weird way to get to the go-kart rink. So I said something. He was like, oh, because we're not going to the go-kart rink, we're going to eat Red Lobster. I was like, no, we're not. We're going to a go-kart rink. And he was like, what? We're really doing that? I was like, yes, we literally talked about it last night for an hour. He was like, oh, well, I thought, you were just saying that to make your grandmother feel good, and then we were going to just do our own thing. I was like, no, I'm not that kind of person. If I tell someone I'm going to do something, like, that's what the fuck I mean. So he was like, are you being serious? I was like, yeah. He was like, so we can't go to the mall? I was like, no, we can't go to the mall. We're going to do exactly what I told my grandmother we're going to do. Well, and I know that sounds really childish, but like at the end of the day, like I didn't want her to worry about me. And what if something happened and then I had to tell her like, oh, I'm all the way out here when I was supposed to be somewhere else? Like I just didn't want any of that, you know what I mean? So also I would never met this guy. This was my first time being with this guy, and I was in his car like, hello. Anyway, so he kept driving like in that direction, thinking that I was freaking playing. I wasn't playing. I was like, we can go to the go-kart rink or you can take me home. I was so serious. And he was like, okay, fine, we'll go to the go-kart rink. So we go to the go-kart rink, and it was kind of shitty because it started raining. But so we get up to the place, and we have to buy the tickets inside where the arcade was. So when we're buying the tickets, I go to pull out my wallet. He's like, no. And I'm like, oh, you don't want me to pay you? He's like, no, I got this. And I'm like, okay. And so he buys the tickets, and we go to the place where you like get in line to, but we were the only people there, so we didn't have to wait in line. So we go there, and there's a guy there who's like, dealing with like buckling people up and doing like the go-kart rounds, whatever. And this guy was like cute, I'm not gonna lie, he was cute. But it wasn't like I was gonna actively like flirt with him or anything. I just acknowledged in my head that he was cute. So we get in this line, and Charles immediately was like, hey man, how's it going? And I'm like, okay, that's a little weird, but whatever. I mean, it's not weird that he like said hi to the guy. It was just weird at how loud he was being when he said hi to the guy. The guy goes, oh hey, how you guys doing? I was like, oh, we're doing good. He was like, Charles was like, yeah, we're doing great, man. We're on our first date. How about that? And of course the guy is like, oh, that's cool. He's like, yeah, man, can you believe it? Like, I've got this cute girl with me. We're about to go-kart racing for our first date. That's awesome. And he was like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. And I was just like, and so we get in the go-kart cars, and the guy is buckling us up. As he's buckling me up, Charles keeps saying, so what do you think about this being our first date, man? And I'm like, are you just doing this because he's buckling me up? He doesn't want me, okay? I want a date with you. You have clearly said that like 3 times already. And it's not like there was no reason, because obviously he was doing this because he felt threatened by this guy. You know what I mean? But there was no reason to feel threatened because I never even he never said anything funny. I didn't laugh at any jokes that he made. He didn't make a pass at me. It was literally just, hey, how are you? Like, if we hadn't said anything, it would have just been, hey, how are you guys doing? He would have buckled us up and we would have raced. He didn't need to make it this whole big thing. So, the guy he finished, buckles me up. And, like, I asked him to make sure that I was strapped in. I don't play when it comes to that. You know, girl, I want to be safe, you feel me? But also, because also I know when I race to win. You feel me? I'm not doing that kitty. No, I race to win. And I had been talking smack before we even got in the go-karts anyway. And I was telling him, like, I'm a boss at go-karts, so I hope you're ready. And I didn't hold back. And honestly, I'm really competitive. So, like, I take it harsh when I lose at anything. Like, I don't care what it is. And especially something that I love, like go-kart racing. I was trying to win, okay? So the guy was like, all right, you get like, I think he said like 5 laps. We get like 5 laps. And when he says go, I zoom off. I don't give up. I'm zooming. I'm racing. And he's like playing it safe. I can see Charles just like, you know, staying basically like in the middle of the road and whatever. And he's going like really slow. I don't know why, but he's going really slow. I don't care because I wasn't really paying attention to what he was doing. I was just trying to make sure that I won, and I would pass him like all the time and then do something like, you know, cute, playful, like teasing like that. Cause I was like, every time we got to the corner, I was busting that corner. You feel me? Like I was like, zoom, safety. What is safety? I don't know. I ain't never heard of that in my life. I was busting them corners. You feel me? So, end of the 5 laps comes, and of course, I win. And like I'm a sore loser, right? But I would never be like a sore loser in front of someone that I liked, that I was on a first date with. Like I would try to hold it in. You know what I mean? This guy was so pissed that I won. All he kept saying was like, oh, I had a shitty car. My car wasn't working right. I could never get the car to work right. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, sweetie, you're just a bad driver, okay? You just don't know how to drive. But he just kept blaming the car. And I finally, because, like, I was, like, teasing him about it a little bit, you know, when we got off the course. Because, like, who doesn't tease when you, like, win something, you know what I mean? But he was really getting his feelings hurt. Like, he was really, like, hurt. Like, he was really getting, like, hurt. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stop messing with him because he's getting hurt. So anyway, we decided to go into the arcade, and he didn't have any quarters, but he wanted to like put a whole freaking 20 into the coin machine. I was like, sweetie, you're doing too much. I have quarters on deck, let me use my quarters. And he was like, okay. Like I had to convince him for like 3 minutes, just let me use my quarters. He's like, fine, like, okay, fine, you can use your money, like, thank you for your permission. I'm so glad you gave it to me. Oh my god. So, I don't remember the arcade, but honestly, the arcade bit was fine. I think we had fun in the arcade from what I remember. And honestly, I thought that, like, I was like, okay, yeah, he's getting to be, you know, a little bit nicer or whatever. So, we go to the pizza place, and he tells me, oh, order whatever you want. Honestly, like, my nerves like were still like on high because I can never relax in front of someone that I've just met for the first time. I can never, unless I'm drunk. And so my nerves are on high. Like every time I've been on a date with someone for the first time, it's like the same. No matter if I'm attracted to them or not, it's the same. Like, so I really didn't want to eat, but I was like eating little. He wanted to get like an appetizer. He wanted to get all this other stuff, and I don't eat a lot in general, even when I'm not nervous. So I was trying to tell him that it was like a waste because I wasn't gonna eat it, but he ordered it anyway. And then he kept asking me like, "Why aren't you eating? Why aren't you eating?" And I'm like, "Cause I don't eat a lot." Where so we started talking in the restaurant, and I can't really remember the conversation. You know what I mean? Because like all I really remember, because it was 2 years ago, all I really remember is like the key factors. I just remember in the restaurant, like he just kept asking me, "Are you having a good time? Are you having a good time?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm having a great time." Like, yeah. What was I gonna say? No, I'm having a horrible time. He was my ride home. So he kept asking me, "Are you having a good time? Are you having a good time? Are you having a good time?" Just kept asking me. Just kept asking me that, and I kept saying yes. The other thing I remember from the restaurant is like, this sounds so petty, but like the way that he was eating just really disgusted me. Like, and I'm not the type of person, like I chew with my mouth open, I guess you could say. I make a lot of noise when I eat, but it was just like the way he was eating. Everything was going all over his face, and he was getting stuff all over his hands, and he kept doing that sniffle nose thing that was like at that point it was driving me crazy. Like I couldn't stand it. But like I didn't like show that I was being annoyed. You know, I seemed like I was having like a good time. Anyway, I texted my grandmother. I was like, I want to go home. I want to go home and pick me up at this supermarket, because obviously I wasn't gonna let him drop me off at my house. So we get in the car. This muff was like, because at the time I didn't have my license. This motherfucking car said, "Do you want to drive my car?" I was like, "I don't. Sorry, I don't even have my permit." I didn't even have my permit, fam. I didn't even have my permit. And he was like, "Oh, okay, well," no, he didn't say I'm okay. He was like, "No, this is another thing that he kept pushing me, trying to push me to do something." He literally stopped the car and was like, "Get out of the car and come over here so you can drive." I was like, "No, I'm not freaking driving your car." And I was getting so mad about it because I was like, that's freaking dangerous. I don't know what I'm doing. I've literally never driven a car before. He's like, "I'll teach you." And I was like, "Can you please stop? I just want to go." He's like, "Okay, fine." So we get in the car, and then he's like, "Yeah, honestly, it probably wouldn't be a good idea anyway if we get pulled over because I just got my license back." I was like, "Oh, what did you get it taken for?" He was like, "I was speeding." And I was like, "Oh." And I'm thinking like, oh, he was going like, 15, 20 miles over the speed limit. This motherfucker told me that he was going 90 in a 35. What kind of crazy person are you? I don't understand. And even when we were driving, I had to tell him to slow down because he just sped. I don't know what it was, like if it was in his DNA, I don't know what it was, but even when we were in the car together, I had to keep telling him to slow down because he was speeding so fast. And he told me he just got his license back like a month ago. So you'd think that he would be more cautious because he got it revoked for like 2 years. So you would think that because he got like, what is it, like 5 or 6 points on his record for that speeding, because it was like a couple of speeding things, and that was just wild. And then at one point he told me how he got, like, he was telling me how he could hate, I don't remember how we got on this topic, but he was telling me like something like, oh, how he could hate black people but he chose not to. And I was like, what are you talking about? Apparently he got jumped by a bunch of black guys, and I got nothing to do with that. Like, that's a sad story, but like that has nothing to do with me, you feel me? So the fact that he was like, oh yeah, I could have let that persuade like dissuade my opinion of black people, but I didn't. I'm like, great, good for you. Would you like a fucking medal? Any fucking way. So we're like 5 minutes away from the grocery store where my grandmother's gonna pick me up. And this motherfucker starts talking about everything he wants to do with me before I go to school. He's like, we need to go, we have so much stuff to do before you leave. We should go fishing, we should go this, we should go that. Then he goes, I saw online the other day $300 tickets to go to the Bahamas on a cruise. Would you be into that? And I was like, yeah, I would totally be into that. No, I wasn't into it. And I was like, this motherfucker, like, because it was just like, I guess it sounds like it wouldn't be bad, but like, I wasn't into him, and the fact that he was that invested in me that he wanted to pay for me a ticket to go to the Bahamas, that freaked me out. Honestly, that would honestly be a red flag, even if I was attracted to him, because someone like who is so ready to like get and dive into a relationship like that just is a red flag for me, because that to me shows that you're not, trying to take the time to get to know me. Like, you want everything that comes with a relationship, but you're not really thinking about the work it takes to get there. Like, this is literally our first date and you're talking about going to the Bahamas. That's a little immature to me, personally. Some people are into that, but like, it just shows some sense of instability to me. It shows a sign of instability in my brain. So I just was not, like, at that point I was just like, no, I'm just not feeling this on any type of level. Okay, this is where the crazy spark comes in. So I'm about to get out of the car, because like this whole time it's been mild, you know what I mean? He hasn't really done anything too bad. I'm about to get out of the car, and he was like, are you gonna text me? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna text you when I get home. He's like, you're really gonna text me? Like, he had my arm, because I was about to leave, and I was like, yeah, I'll text you. So I'm like leaving out this way, I have my arm like this. He didn't hurt me or anything, but he like had my arm like this, and he's like, you're gonna text me, right? You're gonna text me, right? And I was like, yes, I'm gonna text you when I get home. He's like, okay, and I gave him a hug, whatever. So I get in the car with my grandmother, and I was like, she was asking me how did it go. I was like, I'm not feeling it. She asked me like if I wanted anything before we got home. I was like, no, I just ate. He was a gentleman. He was a gentleman in the sense that he paid for everything, but in every other sense, because the berating himself never stopped. Okay, he kept berating, and like, honestly, like, being that insecure about yourself is just another red flag for me. If you don't like yourself, how the fuck am I supposed to like you, fam? If you don't have nothing to say good about yourself, what am I supposed to find good about you? Please tell me. Please tell me. Not even 10 minutes after he dropped me off, he texted me. I thought I was supposed to text you. I didn't say that, but I thought that was what we said. He texted me and he was like, I had such a good time with you, blah, 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 blah. And he's like being sweet again, So now I'm like, okay, so I guess he's just sweet over text, but just like weird in person. Now, you know what I could have did? I could have ghosted the fuck out of this motherfucker, you know what I mean? I could have just took the cowardly way out and just never talked to him again. I was like, you know what? He actually was pretty, like, decently nice. I could tell that he was trying really hard, but he was just trying way too hard. It was just turning me off. Also, I'm not going to kid myself. I am in no way, shape, or form attracted to this guy. And, like, being attracted to someone isn't everything, but it's a huge component, okay? Also, I just didn't really like his personality. There was just nothing, like, if he had a bomb personality, but I wasn't really attracted to him, I would give it a shot. But if you don't have a bomb personality and you're not attracted to me, and on top of that, you're so insecure about yourself, that's just 3 strikes and you're out, sweetie. So I wasn't mean about it or anything. I literally said, yeah, it was really cool, but I think that honestly, from my end on things, I'm feeling like this is probably going to be more of a platonic relationship. He says, what do you mean? I was like, I mean, what the fuck I said? But I didn't say that. I was like, the way that you're feeling is more romantic towards me, but I'm feeling like you're probably just a friend that I would like to have. I'm sorry about that. I hope that's okay. When I tell you this guy went from 0 to 100 when I say that, that's exactly what the fuck I mean. He went off on me over what I said. I wish I had those text messages, fam. But like I said in the last story, I had a text app, and I ended up changing my text app number after this because he kept texting me even after we had this whole argument. So he went off on me, and he started, because it was so toxic. He would start berating me and saying how I'm never gonna find a man, and I'm damn sure not gonna find anybody who's gonna put up with my grandmother being overprotective of me. Like, he is basically saying I was never gonna find anybody like him, and then on the flip side trying to make me feel bad for him and saying things like my ex was right, I'm just so ugly, I'm never gonna find anyone who loves me or cares about me or blah 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 blah. And I was just like, dude, you're doing too fucking much. You're doing way too much. And I like, for 5 minutes, I kept saying, look, I'm really sorry, but I don't want to lie to you. He just kept going off on me. I really wish I had those text messages, because so I could just, like, show you. But I don't remember everything he said, but I just remember he just went off on me. He went crazy on me because I literally was just trying to say I like you as a friend. I had the fucking courtesy to tell him that I only wanted a friendship, and he went off. So it got to the point where I was just like, okay, he's not, because I kept trying to apologize and whatever, but he just wasn't hearing me, so I just blocked him. Actually, I don't think I could block the number from texting me. I think I had to just change the number, so I just ended up changing my text app number. And that just put a bad taste in my mouth from POF, because, the first guy was crazy. The second guy that I met on there, he was like, oh, you're too mature for me. Then the third guy was basically, like, angry at me for no freaking reason. So, I didn't go on Plenty of Fish for, like, 2 months after that. I logged back on that account. I logged back on the account 2 months later, and I kid you not, 2 days later, I get a message from him on that account saying, this was his exact words, I will never forget this message. And, like, that's the reason why I went back on that profile, so I could try to see it if, like, I still had the message on there, but Plenty of Fish deleted it. But he said, oh, still can't find a man yet? I wonder why. Because you're only a horrible person after the first date. How was I a horrible person, you crazy motherfucker? So after that, I literally just deleted the app, and I didn't go on Plenty of Fish for 2 years. And I went on the app like 2 weeks ago when I was, like, planning to do this video, but the message wasn't there. So yeah, that's what happened, and it was crazy. So gracias por viendo. Actually, honestly, I'd be interested if anybody has some crazy stories like that. Let me know. That'd be cool. Send me a comment down below. I'm not sure if you can message me anymore. If you want to message me on YouTube, go ahead. I'm not sure how I would check it, but you should totally try to do that, because I know they got rid of the Messenger app, but you should try to message me if you want to. And 再见，todos.